60, tonight partly cloudy with a low around 40, and Wednesday sunny with a high near 53. There's only 3 weeks left to see the enormous Crocodile at Children's Theater Company. This mischievous roll doll adventure bursts with puppets, music, and jungle-sized imagination. Don't miss the wild finale of this hit musical running through November 23rd. Tickets at childrenstheater.org.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPTA 20, Chicago's progressive talk where facts matter. Welcome to The Gailey Show, the only daily LGBTQ radio news and talk show in the United States. I'm your host, John Parker. My executive producer, Jim Pounds, here with me in the studio.
Hey, all.
And we are also live streaming on our YouTube channel right now. And if you like what you're seeing, subscribe on YouTube, click that like button, and leave us a comment. What is on the show today? So as the Supreme Court is getting ready to strike down bans on conversion therapy, we're continuing our coverage. And I have a story today about electroshock therapy. It's election day in America. There are over 180 races taking place across the country. We're going to take a look at some critical ones as the polls close here across the country. But up first, the queer-owned FWIDO Studios was, according to their website, born in 2024 amidst the industry layoffs, cutting of DEI programs, and canceling of content with queer and or BIPOC protagonists. As an indie studio, they want to fill those gaps in all forms of media, books, audio, and TV. They are working on their first pilot and having a fundraiser to support both that and to celebrate diversity in media. At the fundraiser, Sapphic Lit Pop Up, a collective of queer artists and authors will be selling their work during a happy hour at the Lord Baltimore Hotel in Baltimore this Friday. The event is from 5 to 7 at the Lord Baltimore Hotel. Joining me now is FWDIO founder and CEO AJ Ryder. After a decade of working in journalism, AJ opened FWDIO Studios. Their second book, Strip Me Down, just came out in paperback this October. AJ, it is great to be in conversation with you again today.
It is great to be on with you guys.
And I say again because AJ was just a guest on our podcast, This Queer Book Saved My Life, which that episode also came out in October to celebrate the release of your second book. So it's great to be in conversation with you all over again just a few weeks later. And I want you to tell our listeners about your pilot and what you're fundraising for.
Absolutely. Our pilot is an adult animated TV show. It's a dark comedy. Foxglove, the main character, she's a kitchen witch. She's not great at her job, but she runs an apothecary. The magic in her world is dying, and together with her cashier and her apothecary / pharmacist, they are taking on these conglomerates and corporations that are trying to, burn into the market and wipe out their magic. Foxglove is a little bit of a chaos gremlin, and she really leads this team, but she's also, she's a Black lesbian. Her cashier is a Latina, bisexual woman, and all of these women are, pivoting late in life, and it speaks to a lot of us who, were laid off and we're changing careers, or who just reached that late 20s, early 30s, where you've been in the corporate sphere and you're like, I need to do something that matters. So, that's what Poison Us is about. That's what the pilot's going to be about. And we're having a fundraiser, since we're down in DC, Maryland area, we're having a fundraiser in Baltimore, and we have invited, several other artists and authors to come fundraise with us and hopefully bring in people to donate to our Kickstarter, but also to buy these queer books and this queer art that is going to be shown at Lord Baltimore Hotel on Friday for happy hour. I mean, we're also going to have drinks, so that's nice.
I love everything about this. I wish that I could fly in to Baltimore to attend. When folks hear pilot, they traditionally think of television. So is this a series? Is this an animated film?
It is. The pilot is the first episode in the animated series, and we're going to put it up on YouTube for our, or not Patreon, for our Kickstarter people. We have levels all the way from $5 all the way up, but for those that buy 25 and up in to support us, they're going to be able to get into a digital screening earlier than everybody else. And we're also hoping to do a physical screening as well, where obviously we would invite everybody from the 25 and up that donate.
There is, so I mean, talk about, I was looking, you've posted both on the Kickstarter website and on your Blue Sky account, the breakdown of where the money goes that you're fundraising right now. And there is so much that goes into creating an animated series. I mean, I was looking at this graphic, 65% of the budget is going to animation, background, soundtrack, FX, and the talent, and then the remainder is basically taxes and marketing. Talk to me what it's like being an indie studio in 2025 producing queer BIPOC content.
It is crazy, that's for sure. It's hard for us as somebody we're really promoting indie and queer and BIPOC content. We're not apologetic about it, so we're not tailoring to those studios or production companies that would really want to, I guess, push down those parts of what our story is about. So we are reaching out to the public in order to, make up that sort of money. But we have to obviously put something out and put out with marketing and all of the other fees and taxes that go along with it. And we want to make sure, in this Kickstarter that we're filling, we're giving you some kind of reward for people that actually donate. Not just, the digital reward of, okay, you can come watch it early, or here's a digital poster. We actually have physical rewards. We have some tarot cards that show up in episode 2 and show up in episode 1 as well. We have some keychains and enamel pins, and that's really a big way that indie animation actually finances itself, is through these merch drives, is through Kickstarter and platforms where you're crowdfunding and you're building up your base by reaching out to them directly rather than going through some large middleman.
I saw on your Kickstarter you've got sticker bags, keychains, enamel pins, usual digital goodies. I saw that there's a millennial favorite of a flip book of an animated scene. I thought that was pretty special.
Yes. It came back from, I'm a millennial, obviously. And if you remember, being a kid and you had like that Disney, like that Lion King flip book where you would just, yes. And the lion and Simba would walk across the log and stuff. And I was like, that's something in your hand that you don't even see anymore, especially when it comes to indie animation. We want to show that, yeah, this is, 2D hand drawn. This is not AI. This is not, we're real people putting this together, and having a piece in your hand where you can just like look through it. That's, it gets to that nostalgia.
Yeah. You were a journalist for a decade. You covered and worked on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives within the industry and outside of it. And I'm curious, when people hear animation, it's inevitable they think of, Disney. And, Disney infamously now fired Jimmy Kimmel and then brought him back. They had an animated film come out this year, Elio, which apparently was supposed to be a queer protagonist. And then they got rid of that after a screening. I'm curious your thoughts on that, being a founder of an indie studio, animation studio.
Yeah. So this is what we were actually seeing that before there was all those layoffs, under the people that work on these shows were actually seeing that happen. And, you're under NDAs all the time where you can't exactly talk about it, but, you have to change a script. You have to change a storyboard. You have to change how, this whole storyline that's out there. And then it comes out through a leak or something where it's like, hey, this was actually about a trans person, or this was actually about, a queer person in the front. And it's disappointing. It is, because for a lot of us, Disney was our person kind of growing up, teaching us, how to be good friends and how to be, I guess, out in the world and adventurous and push boundaries like Mulan. And then, we really inspire and we pull from Disney a lot as people in, the creative field. But then we saw it coming. And that's part of the reason that we started FWIDO was, we were like, you know what, if you're going to lay us off, if you're going to take these stories and these narratives away, then we'll do it ourselves. Fine. We'll, put the money out and we'll raise the capital, and we want to see it. And we know, people that want to see it. And we're all tired of the same stories over and over. Mm-hmm. Let's do this.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Also, I like to tell people that Princess Ariel made me gay. So thank you, Disney. All right. Wow. Anyway, I wrote a whole thing about it. But I want to, so we've got just a couple minutes left with you here. Tell us about the other work that FWIDO is going to be working on in addition to your pilot.
Yes. Okay. And by the way, Ariel is a gay awakening for a lot of us.
Oh, I'm serious. Yes.
Yeah. That scene of her swimming up. So FWIDO, we, our fundraiser, we want to be active in the community that we're in, especially. So we have invited, BIPOC and queer people that are artists and illustrators and, oh my goodness, artists and illustrators and writers, to come to this event. We would love to host other events in the area as well. We are not just going to be doing animation, but we want to, branch out. This idea for the studio is really to go hard. So we have, other pre-production in the works when it comes to verticals. We have pre-production in the works when it comes to actually full length, like animated movies. We want to incorporate comics, especially for those, there's people that put out comics right now. They're amazing, but they're not getting a lot of visibility. We want to really help with that.
We are talking with AJ Ryder, founder and CEO of FWIDO Studios. I have to leave it there for right now. The fundraiser is 5 to 7 p.m. on Friday, November 7th at the Lord Baltimore Hotel in Baltimore. We have links in our show notes and on our website on am950radio.com and heartlandsignal.com, where you can donate to FWIDO, learn more about their work. AJ, this ran too fast, but thank you for joining us today.
I always love talking with you.
Yes, we'll have you back on the show. You're listening to The Gaily Show on AM 950 KTNF and WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. More after the break.
Guess who's back? That's right, it's me, the Grinch. Don't miss seeing me at Children's Theatre Company this holiday season. Can those Who's down in Whoville make me into a lover of Christmas joy? Doubtful! Yeah, but you'll have to come and see for yourselves. Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas is the perfect holiday treat for the whole family because of me. Yeah, the Who's are in it too. But you'll love it anyway. Tickets and showtimes at childrenstheatre.org.
I'm Marcus Jones. I'm a Minneapolis firefighter, just like my father was. Serving my community means leading with integrity and putting the community above myself. I don't trust Omar Fateh to lead the city as mayor. His state Senate campaign committed voter fraud. He's proposed corrupt legislation to benefit himself. Look it up. I was shocked at what I saw. We deserve leaders who are honest and lead with integrity, not Omar Fateh.
This independent construction encourages you to do your part by liking and sharing the content on AM 950 social media platforms.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. Ryan has always told me the best time to get work done is during the colder months of the year because demand is much lower. He is backing that up again by offering 30% off labor on windows and siding from now until the end of December. Call Snap Construction now to get 30% off labor on windows and siding. As always, Snap Construction stands by their work with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. Trust the company AM 950 trusts. Snap Construction. Construction, arguably the most well-reviewed roofing, siding, and window contractor in the metro area. Get a free estimate by calling 612-333-SNAP or find them online at snapconstruction.com. Financing options available.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
Crooners is a classic supper club with a wide range of entertainment. Make your reservations for a parade of international, national, and local artists in the main stage showroom, the intimate Dunsmore Jazz Room, or outdoors at the seasonal Belvedere Under the Stars space. Or enjoy Maggie's Piano Lounge. Enjoy 4-star food and drinks with first-class supper club service. What are you waiting for? Go to croonersmn.com for more information and schedule. That's croonersmn.com.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I am John Parker. We are coming up on the bottom of the hour. I've got a question for you. Can you cure gay people? Can you make them not gay, not trans? And can electricity do it? In October, the Supreme Court had a case about conversion therapy. A Christian therapist says it's against the Constitution for conversion therapy, to be banned because that violates her free speech. She wants to cure her clients, who are kids, claiming she can change their sexuality and gender identity. Because it is talk therapy, a majority of justices indicated that they agree that this is a free speech issue. 23 states and the District of Columbia currently ban conversion therapy, known as the gay cure. If the Supreme Court rules for this Christian therapist, all those bans will be struck down. So these Christian therapists think they can successfully cure their patients who are kids to change their sexuality. But I want to talk about a very specific form of conversion therapy, also known as aversion therapy in this instance. If talking works, why not electroconvulsive therapy, ECT? Formerly known as electroshock therapy. That's a thing. That's still a thing. Wouldn't you say that electroshock therapy, the most aggressive form of a gay cure, would be the most effective? What did it involve? So for one patient, this is based on BBC reporting. A gay man in the UK, an interview with him, used a pseudonym, Chris. He sat in a room and had electrodes attached to his ankle and his wrist. Then the doctors projected photos on a screen in front of him. And when a picture of a man popped up, he was required to use a switch to flip to the next photo. If he didn't switch fast enough, he got a shock of electricity. Photos of women? No shock. He received this treatment for months. Didn't work. Let's now head to Utah. This is through ABC News reporting. A devout Mormon, a gay man, volunteered to be part of a study because he was desperate not to be gay, because he thought you can't be gay and Mormon, and that actually still holds true today. He had a mercury-filled tube attached to the base of his penis. He was then shown images of nude men and women, and the mercury-filled tube assessed his level of stimulation. He would receive electroshocks 3 in 30 seconds every time he was stimulated by a nude photo of a man. The patients, interestingly, set their own pain level to determine how hard of a shock they would get. Our patient that we're talking about today, he selected the highest level of pain, and he did this for 6 months. Didn't work. So this makes me wonder, you would think that the body would respond to this treatment. For the gay men in these examples, through the electroshocks, you would be converting your body's responses to sex, right? If you're getting a shock of electricity every time you see a nude man, but getting an affirmative response when you see a woman, eventually the body will adapt, right? Eventually, the body will actively seek out positive experiences, which would be associated with being heterosexual. Right? No, didn't work. It failed so spectacularly that no one does it anymore. But here's the thing, as I mentioned earlier, electroconvulsive therapy is still used to treat severe depression, bipolar disorder, catatonia, and schizophrenia, other conditions. So how come you can use electroconvulsive therapy to treat depression, but not cure gay people? Well, I would follow the science that says you can't actually change a person's sexuality or their gender identity, no matter if it's electricity that you're using or talk therapy. But a lot of Christian denominations are telling kids, and thus the Christian therapists who go to these churches are telling kids, that God created you in his image, always his. And you being gay or trans, that's against what God wants. And you don't want God to be upset with you, do you? Let's find out what made you gay. Let's talk about it. Let's blame your mom. Let's blame your dad. There are no professional standards or guidelines how to do this, as reported in multiple media outlets. So let's pray and talk about how your teacher read you a book with a rainbow in it, and that subconsciously made you start thinking gay thoughts. Fast forward 6 months later, the kid is still experiencing gender dysphoria or same gender attraction, but now he or she or they know God really, really, really doesn't like this. And someone in their life made them think it was okay to do this, to have these thoughts, and they have to find out who it is. But they keep coming up at dead ends because they're still experiencing same gender attraction or gender dysphoria. So what do you think this kid does? Start abusing substances? Cutting? Thinking about other self-harm? Are they developing an anxiety disorder because God is upset with them, and despite all this therapy, they're not being cured? But huge numbers of Christians, not all, the majority, hate it when I talk about this and hate me for it. Because when I point out this evidence, that means one of two things. I'm lying and acting on behalf of Satan, okay? Or their interpretation of the Bible is wrong, and not only can God not cure someone of being gay or trans, he doesn't want to. Unfortunately, it's easier to think I'm an agent of Satan. Unfortunately, it's easier to make this a free speech case. Let me still believe that gay people can be cured, that trans people can be cured, no matter what. No matter whom I torture. I'm going to bring in Jim now, executive producer of The Gaily Show, back into the conversation here. I know that was a lot, but this is continuing our coverage of conversion therapy, and I think it's important to put it in these stark emotional terms here. We are not talking about free speech here. And I think that it's very egregious of the Associate Supreme Court Justice, Amy Coney Barrett, who said in the oral arguments, well, if something goes wrong and there's malpractice, then the patient can just sue. How do kids sue? This therapist treats kids. Their parent is taking them this. How does a 12-year-old sue the therapist for developing a depression disorder? Jim, your thoughts?
Well, she's not a therapist. She's a voodoo doctor.
She's trained. She's licensed.
Yeah, but she's doing something that the industry believes. You have to take some stock of. I know there's outliers, but you've got to take some stock of consensus in all things science, all things medicine. Anyone with an ounce of brains knows that. So I guess what disturbed me is that people think so much of their own religion and the ego that goes along with that. And the sense of absolute rightness that goes along with that, and they would use that to hurt someone with. It's an illness, I think, to think like that.
We have got to take a break. We're going to have more with The Gaily Show when we come back. If you like what we're doing on YouTube, click subscribe, tell your friends, leave a comment, click the like button on this video. You are listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Hi, Minnesota. Stephanie Miller here. Join me every weekday morning from 8 to 11 for a humorous look at politics and current events on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
I'm Shelley Medore, and I'm running for Minneapolis City Council. As your council member, I will fight against harmful MAGA policies coming out of Washington and push back on extreme policies here at home. Minneapolis doesn't need more grandstanding. We need good governance and common sense solutions. I will work to invest in community policing, protect tenants' rights, and invest in our small businesses so we can keep Minneapolis a welcoming city for all. On Election Day, I'm asking for your vote. Together, let's choose Minneapolis. Vote Shelley Medore for Ward 2.
Prepared and paid for by Campaign Fund of Shelley Medore, Ward 2.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners that use social media. Do you want an authentic way to connect with people in your life? Something more meaningful. Thousands of people just like you know that when it matters, count on Minuteman Uptown for custom quality digital prints. From Canva creations to self-published books, from business cards to banners and signs, we print everything. Find more information at mpuptown.com. Contact Minuteman Uptown today, and we'll help you connect to what matters.
This season, bring the whole family to see Irving Berlin's White Christmas. This smash hit musical based on the classic film returns by popular demand to delight you at Chanhassen dinner theaters. With loads of laughter and a stunning showcase of Irving Berlin songs, White Christmas is a celebration of the romance, friendship, and magic of the holidays. Make your plans today to see White Christmas. Visit chanhassendt.com.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. November is here, so you're probably thinking two things right now. First is, man, where did this year go? And second is, oh no, I'm hosting Thanksgiving and my house is not ready at all. So you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to get things in order before your friends and family come over to celebrate. Every surface in your home can be Zero Resified, from hardwood, carpet, tile, rugs, upholstery, and more, so you don't have to worry about your friends and family plopping down on a nasty couch. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google with over 21,000 reviews, so go ahead and get clean. And don't miss this month's deal. Get 3 rooms of carpet starting at just $139 and $50 off an air duct cleaning. You just need to call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies today with a high near 60. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 40. And Wednesday, sunny with a high near 53. Since 1984, Cafe Latte has been serving up gourmet soup, sandwiches, and salads in a relaxed cafeteria setting. Everything's made fresh with real ingredients, no artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. Located off Victoria and Grand. Learn more or place your order at cafelatte.com. That's cafelatte.com.
This is AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF and WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Welcome back to The Gailey Show. I'm John Parker. It is 33 minutes after the hour, in studio with my executive producer, Jim Pounds, also live streaming on our YouTube channel. If you like what you're seeing, click subscribe, click that like button, and leave us a comment. If you're listening in the 2 p.m. hour, we can take your calls for the rest of the hour. The phone number, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. It is Election Day in America. Before we get started, I want to share about our travel partner, Travel Marquette. You all know by now, I love Marquette. Been going there every year for the past decade. This weekend, you still got time to plan a last-minute weekend getaway. The Stand-Up Comedy Festival is going to be back in downtown Marquette at the Ore Dock Brewing Company this weekend, November 5th through the 8th. Is a 4-day festival, multiple showings, and comedians offering a wide variety of humor. Also starting this week, you can experience the magic of the holiday season as the historic Lower Harbor Ore Dock. This is a huge dock where the ships used to come in and get ore and coal. It is out there in the harbor, lights up with magical laser displays every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. on the north side of the dock. It's designed by the Fresh Coast Light Lab. It's free, family-friendly laser and light show, changes every weekend with holiday themes. So you've got your winter themes, you've got your Christmas themes, you've even got a Marquette-inspired abstract display. Obviously, you'll be downtown, so you're right next to the excellent restaurants and breweries. You can do some holiday shopping. If you DM me on Blue Sky, I'll give you all sorts of advice of where to go when you're there. If this sounds like something you would like to do, visit travelmarquette.com. That's travelmarquette.com to start your journey. All right, Election Day in America. Folks who are voting in Minneapolis, your polls are open until 8 p.m. If you are in line and it's 8:05, as long as you are in line, you still get to vote. So do not leave that line. If you get there and you're like, oh, it's 7:55, the line looks long, I'm not going to be able to get to vote. Wrong. You can vote. Get in that line, stay to vote. There are elections happening in Minneapolis, obviously, for mayor there, the entire city council. If you need to know what is on your ballot, you can go to vote.minneapolismn.gov. Jim, can you find me the information on St. Paul?
Sure.
I seem to have closed that tab.
Oops.
I want to verify, though, that in St. Paul, also they are having an election today, City of St. Paul, and the elections, I believe the times are the same, that they close at 8 p.m. as well.
They would be the same times, I know that. Because
Right.
it's done by the state, yeah? Or by the county,
By the cities and the counties, yeah. So while Jim is looking that up, we are seeing a lot of voter turnout is big in New York right now. Turnout is strong compared to previous mayoral elections. So we are obviously very closely watching that race. It is probably the marquee race of today because New York doesn't use ranked choice voting for their mayor's race, the general election. So we should know tonight the winner of that race. I mean, the early voting, when that started that first weekend, big numbers, bigger than the entire early vote from the previous election 4 years ago.
There is a mayoral election in St. Paul today, a school referendum, an administrative citation measure. So there's several things in St. Paul. And I'm sure in the burbs as well.
Yes.
I know St. Anthony has one where we live, for example.
Yeah. Yes, we do. All right. And so with Minneapolis, they use ranked choice voting in Minneapolis. So voters, you can rank up to 3 candidates for mayor. The way it shakes out, we may not know who the winner is tonight. I think there's a very tight race between incumbent Mayor Jacob Fry and the Minnesota State Senator Omar Fateh. But we have very strong campaigns from Reverend Dr. Dwayne Davis and Jazz Hampton. And so with ranked choice voting, it really depends on how folks are ranking people in terms of that 1, 2, 3. So who's your preferred candidate, your second preferred candidate, and your third preferred candidate. Yesterday on the show, for the first time ever, the Gailey Show made endorsements in that race. We categorized those endorsements as it was Jim and I that looked at each candidate, and if we both agreed that a voter should rank them, it was a recommendation to rank. If it was a split decision between Jim and I, one of us said yes, one of us said no, then it was a split vote. And then if neither of us agreed, then we say no recommendation to rank that candidate. And we agreed that voters should rank Reverend Dr. Dwayne Davis and Minnesota State Senator Omar Fateh. We had split decisions on incumbent Mayor Jacob Fry and Jazz Hampton. So we encourage you to get out to the polls. You can look at our interviews with all of the candidates that we had. We had 5 candidates join us. Reverend Dr. Dwayne Davis, Jazz Hampton, Minnesota State Senator Omar Fateh, Brenda Short, and Alejandra Richardson. You can check those out on our YouTube channel. We've got them all there ready for you to watch in a special 2025 Mayor's Race playlist available there for you.
For whatever reason, I'm more interested a little bit in California and New Jersey and Pennsylvania and Virginia, because I think there's a situation in Virginia where the Attorney General's race is closer than it should be. They have a Republican Attorney General, and the Democratic opponent had said some rather awful things in tweets 3 years ago that he's apologized for. And now the race is, I thought he was going to knock this Republican Attorney General off. I still hope he does, but you know, be careful with your tweets, people. You know, and then don't turn around and run for office. So anyway, but I think those races for governor in Virginia and in New Jersey are going to go our way. I think the race in Pennsylvania is going to go our way. And
well, you're just kind of going through them. So I recommend, we had a whole thing about this last week. You can watch election night like a pro through Bolt's magazine. They have all 180 races very clearly and neatly set up for you on their website. You can go to boltsmag.org. That's what I'm going to be using tonight. It's what I've been using for the past week. And it's, if you don't want to know about the housing races, you can just skip right by those. It's very cleanly set up there, and it tells you in brief little paragraphs of what the race is about and the importance of it. So Jim, I know a race that we've been following, you particularly, has been the Pennsylvania Supreme Court race. Interestingly, and this seemed, I'm like, oh, okay, this is an interesting way of doing it in Pennsylvania. So what's on the ballot today, if I understand correctly, is that there are 3 Supreme Court justices on the Pennsylvania Supreme Court where the voters are asking, do you want to see an election there or not? Like, do you want to retain them or not? So if voters say, yes, I want to retain Justice A, B, and C, then there is no election. But if voters today say, well, actually, I don't want to retain these folks, then there would be an election next year for all 3 of them. So it's sort of a like, the Republicans have been putting a lot of money and effort to try to get voters to say, do not retain the current Supreme Court justices on the court, because they think that they can, if they get a friendly court, then that can come into play in 2028 if they've got a MAGA friendly court and they want to challenge the results of the election there.
And they will. That is not speculation. That is a 100% guarantee that they will try to take the largest swing state and try to swing those electoral votes to whichever disreputable Republican is running. And they will absolutely do that. The Republican Party is not about fairness or truth or honesty. And I'm a former Republican, disgusted by them, disgusted to the bottom of my toenails by their willingness to cheat and lie and steal and be, bad people. I don't like bad people. And but that's all we're seeing. So I fully think they literally sent out a postcard lying to voters that if you vote yes, you'll be supporting a certain thing. And it was actually the exact opposite of that. So they will literally trick you and take your wallet while you're standing there talking to them if you let them. So don't fall for it.
Well, and we also, in the previous segment, we were talking about the conversion therapy in front of the Supreme Court. One of the MAGA aligned groups actually submitted false bad data to the court.
Of course.
So we found that out. That is a tactic, a misinformation tactic.
They can't win on the truth. They can't win on a clear statement of what they want, because people hate what they want when they hear about it, honestly.
Which is, what happened to our neighbor next door in Wisconsin, where they said, oh, nobody likes our policies, so to keep power, let's gerrymander the maps. Where do we see that happening right now? They know Americans don't like the policies, and so they're trying to gerrymander all of the maps, which brings us to California and Prop 50. We may know the results of this tonight, actually. It looks like the turnout is good and the polling is good for it. I know that California also, I don't know on their proposition measures if they do ranked choice voting on that. It's either a yes, no.
I don't know, but I know
we should know that tonight.
Newsom has told people you can stop donating to this because you don't need to keep donating. Do you know what I'm saying? He said that yesterday. So I don't.
People still donating yesterday. Where's that money going to go? I have questions, Governor Newsom.
Television, last minute. Yeah. But anyway, I think that one's pretty safe. And this whole gerrymandering thing that they're trying to do is not going to gain them nearly enough seats in a traditional off election especially with a horrible incumbent in place. They're expected to lose a lot of seats, and this is not going to do it. This is not going to change it.
Well, the understanding is that if Prop 50 goes through in California, that they could redo their maps to gain 5 seats for the Democratic Party, which would immediately offset the Texas new maps, which are 5 seats for the Republicans. So it kind of creates a wash in between there. Interestingly, if we want to talk about legislative, you were talking about state races, Virginia is looking as well into gerrymandering their maps towards the Democrats, and the Virginia House has currently is overall controlled by the Democratic Party, 51-49. Typically, they vote like this, governor and the legislature, the year after a new president comes in, and typically it's been a bellwether where the opposite party of the president takes over control of the Virginia House. But right now, in the Virginia House, they have it. Democrats have it by 51-49. Will they retain that? Will they grow that? I guess we'll have to see tonight, but I think that we will probably know what will happen there tonight. Minnesota State Minnesota Senate has a election happening today as well. The Democratic Party, or the Democratic Farmer Labor Party, the DFL as it's known here in Minnesota, has a 35-34 majority. The death of a Republican senator and the resignation of a Democratic senator left it 34-33, still with Democrats having a 1-vote advantage. So the Democrats need to win one of two of the special elections today to retain their majority. Neither party can gain full control of state government, though, no matter what happens in these races, because in the House, there isn't an election today, and that is a split, even tie between Republicans and the DFL, and there's a power-sharing agreement going on in the House over there. Virginia, anything else to say about Virginia?
No, just watch that attorney general race.
I didn't finish my thought. So the Virginia legislature is up for grabs. If it stays that way, if the Democrats retain that, then they are looking into gerrymandering their maps in advance of next year's election. So there could be some more pickups. So today's races, even though it's not 2026, have huge implications for what's going to happen in 2026.
There are as many as a third of all the states that are having some discussions about cheating, which is what gerrymandering is. I don't care who does it.
The Supreme Court said it's legal.
I know. The cheaters on the Supreme Court said cheating is all right. So check your standards at the door. But I think if as many states as who are talking about doing it as do it, this is not going to help the Republicans. It's just astonishing to me when I really looked at it. And in the case of Utah, I've mentioned this already. Utah's under court order because they're gerrymandering to hurt a Democratic seat, and they have to change their maps to make sure that seat remains Democratic. So actually, this is not going to change the outcome. I think even if all the Republican states do it, I'm not sure that it would change.
We're going to have more election coverage when we come back. You're listening to The Gailey Show. One quick final break, but lots still to get to and talk about what's going to happen tonight in America. More after the break.
Hi, it's Penny from Nightingale, your gathering spot near 26th and Lyndale in South Minneapolis since 2012. Come check out the fun and vibrant atmosphere. Besides our traditional favorites like the Nightingale burger and fries, did you know we also have delicious vegetarian and vegan options? Plus, we have one of the best gluten-free menus in town. And for drinks, our bar staff is always creating fun new cocktails along with a thoughtfully curated wine and beer list. Join us at Nightingale where good times and great flavors come together.
On Saturday, November 15th, One Voice Mixed Chorus presents the concert Protest Lines, a concert and community sing at the O'Shaughnessy Auditorium. Hear the chorus perform powerful music of protest and then join them as they teach you songs to take to the streets. This is a true community sing-in for the times we are enduring. Go to onevoicemn.org to buy tickets, onevoicemn.org.
Hey friends, John Parker here from The Gailey Show. Traveling as a queer person or with queer friends and family needs to be worry-free, relaxing, and with a sparkle of adventure. So that's why for the past 10 years, I head up to the Fresh Coast and Michigan's Marquette County. With its spectacular fall colors, dozens of hiking trails, local breweries, good food, eclectic shopping, and its historic downtown, and even a film festival, it's just what I need for a long weekend getaway. Join me and head up to the Fresh Coast. Visit travelmarquette.com to start your journey.
In today's uncertain times, Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces believes that a fire can add comfort and security to your life. At Woodland, our mission is to connect you to a place for fire that works.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces installed our wood stove years ago, and we still love it. Watching the fire, feeling the heat is a joy we experience every day. And knowing we have a reliable heat source makes us feel snug and safe.
There are many choices in wood, gas, or electric. For diversity and styles, at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we display over 180 models, and 35 of these are burning displays. You can experience the glow and warmth of a live fire.
Whether wood, gas, or electric, find a fire that warms your heart, a fire that adds comfort and security to your life. See the many choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, located on the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis, and online at woodlandstoves.com.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces since 1977. For over 48 years, our slogan has been, out of the ordinary products and services. Our mission is to get you a fireplace that works in your life.
The independently owned Next Chapter Booksellers is the perfect destination for your next book. The friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at making recommendations no matter your age or taste. Plus, they have frequent events including book readings and meet and greets with authors. And they sell more than just books. They have a wide variety of puzzles and games, too. So stop in and browse the store off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I'm John Parker. We're coming up on the top of the hour. It is Election Day in America, and a lot of the races have significant impacts for what is going to happen in 2026. So it definitely feels like 2026 is already happening. This is like part one of the election. A recent poll I heard on the Thom Hartmann cited this morning on the Thom Hartmann program put Donald Trump's approval rating as just about exactly what it was after the January 6th coup attempt to stop the certification of Joe Biden's victory in the 2020 election. So that was the worst polling ever. And I sort of get so annoyed when Trump was underwater his entire presidency of people not liking him. His entire presidency this time around, he's basically been underwater at record levels. And somehow, America, you still voted for him.
Supposedly.
Okay, we're not getting into that, Jim. That is not verified. I'm not even going to dignify that. I do want to highlight the Associated Press. Stop it. The Associated Press has reported as of 3 p.m. Eastern. So since we went on the air, nearly 1.5 million people have voted in New York City's mayoral election.
Yeah.
There are still just under 6 hours to go until the polls close. And they are saying, quote, the turnout has already surpassed the total votes cast in any New York City mayoral election in the past 2 decades. 20 years. That's a huge number. I think it is going to, I think it's going to be close, actually. I really do think it's going to be close. I think there are a lot of Democrats who are going to side with Donald Trump and vote for Andrew Cuomo. Trump and Elon Musk have gone full in and endorsed Andrew Cuomo yesterday. And I think that I think a lot of Democrats are going to vote for him because we have been dragged so far to the right in this country that when they see someone like Mamdani and his so-called far-left policies, the rest of the world is looking at Mamdani and going, oh, that's a centrist.
Yeah, right.
That's a centrist. But we have been dragged so far to the right that we don't even recognize that.
No.
We don't even know that right now. And so I think there are going to be a number of Democrats that are going to vote for Cuomo and go along with Trump, which blows my mind, and Elon Musk. But, there we are. The biggest boogeyman in America is not Nazis, as it turns out. The biggest boogeyman in America is the scary far left.
Really?
I know. Us progressives, we're so scary.
We are
with our
scary.
universal child care.
I know.
And our minimum wages that actually reflect the cost of living in the United States.
Healthcare for everyone.
I know.
Nuts.
What do you mean you shouldn't go bankrupt because your appendix tried to kill you?
That's right.
Anyway,
pull up your bootstraps.
Pull up your bootstraps. If you want to watch the election like a pro, you should go to boltsmag.org. I just love this. They're not even paying me to say this. This is how much I love this election guide.
For you to say
really,
that.
we should.
Yeah.
Bolts Magazine, boltsmag.org has the best cheat sheet to the 2025 general elections. And what I love about this is that they flagged for me. I did not know about this. Yes, Jim.
I was just going to say,
news for me.
I wanted to I added up all the states that are considering or taking some sort of action on gerrymandering, and it's 16. That doesn't mean it's going to happen in 16. It simply means it's been proposed, or it's been talked about, or it's being kicked around. The ball's been kicked around in 16 states. Nobody's reporting on all that because a lot of them may never see the light of day, but at least it's being talked about. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that out.
Thank you for flagging that for us. Something that I do want to highlight as well are school board races. This is an area of particular concern for LGBTQ folks, but school boards are the primary stepping stone to folks getting into politics. And MAGA has done an incredibly good job of getting their people onto school boards that then platform them into other statewide races. I want to flag in particular, the one I'll be watching tonight is Douglas County, Colorado. Conservatives have a 4-3 majority in Douglas County, which is one of the largest school districts in Colorado. I'm reading from the reporting from Bolts Magazine here. The right-wing bloc has sided with anti-LGBTQ plus politicians and undermined even state health surveys. This fall, all 4 seats currently held by conservatives are up for grabs. So these are ostensibly nonpartisan, but there is a MAGA slate of candidates, 4 of them, and there is a Democratic Party supported slate of candidates, 4 of them. So I will be watching very closely here to see what happens in Colorado. Colorado is a blue state with a gay governor, but Colorado has been ground zero for sourcing cases that then go up to the Supreme Court to overturn all sorts of legislation and rights for LGBTQ people. And so, the main area where MAGA is going after queer folks right now is in the school system. So we will be watching the race in Douglas County, Colorado for their school board. Another one that I'm interested in as well is the Bucks County, Pennsylvania, the Central Bucks and Penridge districts. According to Bolts Magazine here, at the start of the decade, Bucks County was ground zero for the right-wing takeover school board. So it started here in Bucks County. Moms for Liberty got involved there, that nonsense misinformation psycho group.
Spewing.
Sorry, I don't want to pathologize that. They knew what they were doing. They knew they were lying anyway. The Democrats flipped those. So in Central Bucks, the board was 6-3 MAGA heading into the 2023 elections. Today, Democrats are up 8-1, and the lone MAGA vote seat is up this fall, so today. In Penridge, the board went from 8-1 Republican to 6-3 Democratic in 2023, and now tonight, all 3 MAGA seats are up.
Good.
So I'm going to be watching that race as well very closely.
I just made a note here. Kettle Moraine, I don't know if they have election today, but that was the school district in Wisconsin where I live that made it illegal or banned the use of rainbow. You couldn't display a rainbow flag. I mean, these people literally need to go live in a cave. Can you imagine? You couldn't. And there was also a Waukesha.
Gotta wrap it up. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll break down all of the results there for you tomorrow. Thanks for listening and or watching. Up next is Choose Views with Richard Chu. AM 950 is the Matt McNeil Show. Stay tuned after that for Native Roots Radio. And then at 10 p.m. Central, Step Into the Unknown with Greg Bakken on Ghostbox Radio. And until this time tomorrow, keep it queer, America.
Keep it queer.